Picture a crowded train car, like on a Tuesday morning. If you were sitting there 30 years ago, you would see this very specific kind of chaos.
Oh, yeah, just a completely different vibe.
Right. You'd have people awkwardly folding those oversized newspapers, someone just staring at the window at the buildings going by.
Or just staring at their own shoes, honestly.
Exactly. And maybe two strangers striking up a conversation about the weather, just to break the silence.
Right, because the silence was heavy.
It was. But now, take that exact same train car today. The silence is still there, but it's a profound, hyper-connected kind of silence. Everyone's head is tilted at that exact same 45-degree angle.
Yeah, bathed in that soft blue glow of a screen.
Totally. They are entirely transported out of that physical space and just into a customized digital universe. I mean, it's a striking visual when you really stop and look at it.
It genuinely is. We've undergone one of the most rapid, widespread behavioral shifts in human history, really. And it happens so seamlessly that we barely registered the shockwaves.
We just sort of went with it.
We did. We just accepted that this rectangular piece of glass in our pocket is the new lens through which we must experience reality. Imagine a bustling modern cityscape, right? Layered with all these digital notification icons.
Just constant pinging.
And then contrast that by fading into like a quiet analog library. That contrast is exactly why this matters. We haven't just gained convenience here. We've traded away distinct psychological and social experiences.
Which brings us to our mission for today's deep dive. We are exploring a thoroughly thought-provoking article titled 8 Experiences People Don't Have Anymore Because of Cell Phones.
It's a great piece.
It really is. But to be clear up front, we aren't doing this just to take a nostalgic trip down memory lane.
Right, no pining for rotary dials.
No tangled phone cords here. The real objective is to figure out the mechanics of this shift. We want to understand how the ubiquity of smartphones, which is a fact as obvious as the sky is blue, has fundamentally rewired our brains.
Altered our daily reality.
Exactly, and completely changed how we interact with the physical world. So, okay, let's unpack this. Think about your own habits for a second. When was the last time you stood in a grocery store line for more than 10 seconds without instinctively reaching for your pocket?
That instinctual reach, that is the perfect place to start, because it highlights the first major casualty of the smartphone era, which is the total extinction of the in-between moments.
Yeah, the boredom.
Exactly. Before these devices existed, life was full of forced pauses, waiting for a bus, sitting in a doctor's waiting room, or just, hanging around for a friend who was running late.
You were just stuck there.
You were. In those moments, you were simply forced to endure boredom. It was an unavoidable, defining aspect of the human condition. You couldn't opt out of the physical space you were inhabiting.
And it wasn't just spatial boredom, right? It was intellectual boredom, too. I mean, think about what happens internally.
Talking about random questions.
Yeah, like if a random question popped into your head while you were washing the dishes, something like, why do we call it a baker's dozen? Or, what year did the Titanic actually sink?
You couldn't just ask your smart speaker.
You couldn't just speak into the ether and have a digital assistant instantly give you the answer. You had to sit in the unknown. You either had to, make a mental note to look it up in a physical encyclopedia later.
Or ask a friend and debate it.
Right. Or just come up with your own wild, unverified theories. The friction of finding information meant you had to become comfortable with just not knowing everything immediately.
Which turns out to have incredible psychological value. We've culturally branded boredom as this enemy to be defeated, right?
Yeah.
A void that has to be filled with productivity or entertainment.
Always got to be doing something.
Exactly. But neuroscientists and psychologists view boredom entirely differently. When you are staring out a window doing absolutely nothing, your brain is not actually switched off.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it activates something called the default mode network. This is basically the background processing system of your mind.
Oh, wow.
It's the time your brain uses to consolidate memories, process complex emotions, and connect seemingly unrelated ideas. It is literally the birthplace of genuine creativity and self-reflection. And studies show this genuine downtime is crucial to recharge.
But we've traded that essential mental processing time for a highly engineered dopamine loop.
We really have. And it's linked to higher anxiety, lower focus.
Yeah, let's actually talk about how that dopamine loop works.
Yeah.
Because it's not just that we like our phones, it's that they are designed to hijack our evolutionary biology.
They are slot machines.
Literally, dopamine isn't the chemical of pleasure, it's the chemical of seeking and anticipation. Like, our ancient ancestors got a spike of dopamine when they searched for food and found berries.
Right.
Today, tech companies use a variable reward schedule, literally the exact same psychological mechanism used in casino slot machines.
It's scary how effective it is.
It is. You pull your phone out, swipe down to refresh your social feed, and you get a tiny, unpredictable hit of new information. That unpredictability is what keeps the brain hooked.
And that variable reward completely short-circuits our tolerance for idle time. By constantly feeding that seeking mechanism, we deny the brain its necessary recovery period.
Think of your brain like a car engine.
Okay, I like this.
In the pre-phone era, sitting in a waiting room was like letting the car idle at a red light. It was in neutral gear, giving the engine a moment to just rest and hum along.
Without pushing the RPMs.
Exactly. Today, grabbing our phones for a quick dopamine hit the second we feel bored is like we're sitting at that same red light, but we've got our foot slamming on the gas pedal.
Revving the engine in neutral.
Over and over again. Honestly, no wonder we're all walking around feeling totally out of gas and perpetually stressed.
What's fascinating here is how that internal intolerance for friction, that inability to handle boredom, has systematically bled into how we navigate the external world.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, because our brains have become conditioned to expect instant answers and immediate stimulation, we have lost our patience for physical and cultural wandering.
We want everything right now.
Exactly. We demand hyper-efficiency in our physical environment just as much as we do in our digital feeds. We've basically eliminated the physical unknown.
Which brings us straight to the concept of getting lost. Navigating the physical world used to involve a tremendous amount of serendipity and trial and error.
Oh, before Google Maps?
Yeah, before we all had turn-by-turn GPS in our pockets. Traveling to a new city, or even just trying to find a new restaurant a few towns over, required physical landmarks, street names, paper maps.
Or printing out those highly specific MapQuest directions.
Yes, you'd have the passenger holding a stack of stapled papers in the dark,
Trying to read street signs as they flew by.
hoping they didn't miss that singular left turn, and when you inevitably did miss it, getting lost was just a routine part of life.
It really was. It forced you to pull into a gas station, roll down your window, and humbly ask a complete stranger for directions.
Oh wait, I have to push back here for a second.
Okay, go for it.
It is incredibly easy to look back with rose-colored glasses and romanticize the act of asking a stranger for directions. But isn't getting lost objectively terrible?
I mean, it can be stressful.
Yeah. Think about the panic of being stranded on a dark, unfamiliar road late at night. Having a map in our pocket that tells us exactly where the traffic jams are seems like a massive, undeniable upgrade over fumbling in the dark.
Your point is completely valid. The convenience and safety of modern GPS is a monumental upgrade. Nobody wants to be stranded.
Right.
But we have to examine the paradox of choice here. And what happens when we outsource our spatial awareness entirely to a blue dot on a screen?
It changes how we see the world.
It does. By optimizing for the fastest, most efficient route, you eliminate serendipity. You never accidentally stumble into a quirky local neighborhood or find a hidden bookstore because you took a wrong turn.
You're just moving in a guided tunnel.
Exactly, a guided tunnel. And we see that exact same guided tunnel effect happening in how we consume culture and media.
Oh, totally. The algorithm curates everything.
Right. Before streaming services gave us infinite choices, we had an uncurated media landscape. People had to watch whatever show was on TV.
Listen to whatever was on the radio.
Or read what was on the shelf. You were at the mercy of a shared cultural schedule.
Which feels so limiting now.
It does, but paradoxically, that lack of access exposed people to new discoveries. You were routinely forced to sit through a show you wouldn't have actively chosen or listen to a genre of music you didn't normally seek out.
Bumping into new perspectives outside your comfort zone.
Yes, today you are never forced to engage with cultural friction. You only see what the algorithm knows will keep you engaged, which is usually just a curated digital bubble reflecting your own pre-existing tastes.
It's so smooth, but it really isolates us. And that hyper-efficiency hasn't just changed how we navigate maps and media. It has fundamentally shifted how we navigate each other.
Oh, human connection is completely transformed.
We are optimizing our relationships the same way we optimize our driving routes.
Yeah.
Like, consider the simple act of ordering food.
We used to have to call real humans.
Yes! You had to pick up a telephone, call the restaurant, and engage in a face-to-face or at least voice-to-voice conversation. It required pleasantries.
Tone of voice, patience.
Today, we use food delivery apps, tap a screen a few times, and the food appears on our doorstep without a single word being exchanged.
We've bypassed the human friction entirely.
And that same evasion of friction has completely changed how we make plans with friends. One of the most profound human experiences that has just quietly vanished is the act of resting in the mystery of a commitment.
Oh, the waiting and wondering.
Exactly. Before everyone had a cell phone, if you made a plan to meet a friend at a movie theater on a Friday at 7:00 p.m., you had to physically show up and just trust they would be there.
You'd be checking your watch, wondering if you got the day wrong or if they were stuck in traffic. Because you were both away from home, there was zero way to communicate.
Neighbors and friends used to just pop over unannounced, too.
Right, because you couldn't easily coordinate. You had to extend grace and trust the other person.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Think about text messaging today as a social light switch.
A light switch.
Yeah, it allows you to flick your human connection on or off whenever it becomes slightly inconvenient. You can text, hey, running late, or actually, let's reschedule, effortlessly.
With almost zero social consequence.
Exactly. But in the analog days, making a plan was almost like signing a social contract. Because it was so logistically difficult to alter a plan once you left your house, the friction of having to physically show up actually built trust.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, all of this effortless canceling is a symptom of a much larger loss, which is the erasure of essential human boundaries.
The death of being unreachable.
Precisely. For the vast majority of human history, leaving your physical house meant you were completely unreachable.
Gone.
Gone.
Yeah.
Vacations meant zero communication unless you paid for an expensive long-distance call. Letters took days or months. Being unreachable was the default state.
Now, play-by-play global updates are expected.
Yes. We exchanged deep, trusting boundaries for constant, shallow availability. You carry your boss and your entire social circle in your pocket.
And because we know our entire social circle is watching, it has birthed this bizarre cultural compulsion to document absolutely everything.
Oh, the documentation obsession.
We've shifted from experiencing our lives to archiving them in real time. Just look at any concert or party today.
It's a sea of phones.
It is. People are experiencing the pinnacle moments of their lives through a 6-inch piece of glass.
And the jury is still heavily out on whether recording things makes us less present. Prior to smartphones, most of life was undocumented.
Unless you lugged around a huge video camera or journaled.
Right. Those moments just lived in your memory. Now we're expected to provide these updates, leading to a strange paradox recognized even by the people who invented these devices.
The creator's paradox. This is the part that really gets me.
It's incredibly telling.
So, what does this all mean? Isn't there a massive hypocrisy here? The tech executives in Silicon Valley who created these popular technologies famously limit their own kids' screen time.
They absolutely do.
Mark Zuckerberg is quoted as saying, "I don't generally want my kids to be sitting in front of a TV or computer for a long period of time." Like, the architects of our digital habits are shielding their own children from the very products they are selling to the rest of us.
This raises an important question, especially when you look at the sheer volume of hours the rest of society is logging.
The stats are wild.
They are. A 2025 survey showed children ages 5 to 8 spend an average of 3 hours and 38 minutes on screen media.
Almost 4 hours a day for an 8-year-old?
It gets worse. A 2021 report showed tweens ages 5 to 12 spend over 5 hours, and teens ages 13 to 18 average over 8 hours a day.
Wow.
Now, that includes TV, gaming, and digital reading. But just think about how deeply this technology has infiltrated everyday life.
8 hours a day is a full-time job.
It really is.
We've covered a tremendous amount of ground today on this deep dive. And when you step back, it really emphasizes how much has quietly vanished.
So much of the foundational human experience.
Yeah, from the quiet internal space of boredom and the serendipity of getting lost, to the deep trust required to simply meet a friend.
And the ability to exist in a moment without recording it.
Exactly. We haven't just changed our tools, we've rewired our relationship with our own minds.
And I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to mull over. We learned earlier that filling every moment with dopamine lowers focus and creativity.
Right, revving the engine in neutral.
Exactly. And we talked about how being unreachable used to happen automatically just by leaving your house.
The ultimate boundary.
So if true creativity requires the discomfort of boredom, and being unreachable is now a rare luxury rather than a default state, think about this. What breakthrough idea or deep realization might you be actively blocking from your own mind simply by never allowing yourself to leave your phone in the other room?
Wow. Maybe it's time we all practiced letting the engine idle for a bit. Catch you on the next deep dive.